Hi, I'm Rapoport. Thanks for watching my review of the 2013 Volkswagen CC. This slightly offbeat 2+2 four-door has been updated this year, but still rides on the same platform as the one I tested back in 2009. That car pretty much bowled me over in the aesthetics department, and with this year's refresh, things have only got better. It was already a very stunning and forward-looking car, so all that was really needed was to bring the front and rear ends more in line with VW's current design language. On the face of it, it's very reasonably priced. Our entry-level CC costs a bit above $31,000, still by far the cheapest way to get into one of these four-door coupe spin-offs. There have been some small improvements made inside, but everything I liked is still here. Materials quality seems like it's been brought up a bit, but just like the last CC I tested, there's a surprisingly sparse amount of standard equipment in here. There's no nav, no backup camera, and not even a backup sensor, although I do have a pretty good Bluetooth system. The two-tone upholstery looks great and feels very supportive, but if you look closely at the window sticker, you'll realize that it's not leather at all, but some sort of synthetic material called V-Tex. The last CC that VW sent me was also pretty Spartan on the inside, so I'm wondering if they're trying to send a message about this car's affordability. At first glance, it does seem very affordable. Our test car is the cheapest CC you can buy, and stickers for just over $31,000, including destination charges. Costs are held down by the 6-speed manual gearbox, which definitely makes this stylish cruiser a little more exciting for somebody like me. This is probably a good time to mention that VW have addressed what was my major gripe with this car back in 2009, which was the lack of availability of their excellent DSG or S-tronic or whatever you want to call it, dual-clutch automated manual gearbox. Back then they were just using a regular 6-speed slush box, trying to hold down costs. I guess after a few years, the DSG has gotten cheap enough that they can offer it on this car for only an additional $1,100. And in a slight reversal of current trends, the 6-speed manual is actually better on gas than the DSG, getting 21 miles per gallon in the city and 32 on the highway, according to the EPA. I've actually been able to better the EPA combined estimate, getting 26 miles per gallon in my time with the car. Although, like most enthusiasts, I prefer a traditional 6-speed manual, there were a couple of times during my time with this car that I wished for the uber-logical operation of the DSG or S-tronic or whatever they call it. And it was at speed, I was on the highway, realized I'd left the car in 4th gear. It's because the turbocharged engine is so quiet and so serene and doesn't communicate any mechanical urgency to you, you will probably leave it in a lower gear at some point. Power comes from VW's excellent 2-liter turbocharged motor, making 200 horsepower and 207 pound-feet of torque, although I honestly think this motor is a bit underrated because it feels like a lot more. There is some turbo lag, it's pretty gutless until it starts boosting, but after that, watch out. It will rev to about 1,000 RPM past its indicated red line, and there's absolutely none of that flat up-top feeling that you normally associate with turbocharged 4-cylinder motors. Although, all that low-end torque doesn't mean that you don't have to watch the revs around town. If you're not boosting, you're not going to have any power, so whatever gear you think you should use, subtract 1, and that's the one you need. The CC was a fine car when I reviewed it a few years ago, and it's only got better with age. Everything I liked about it has either remained or been augmented, and with the new sheet metal and better transmission choices, this car once again feels current and competitive. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. This is by far the least expensive way to get a stylish variation on a traditional sedan. I know it only seats 4 and the trunk is a little small, but if that stuff's important to you, guess what? You can go buy a Passat. This car is for people who might buy an Audi A7 or a Mercedes CLS if they had the means. And by that standard, I think it's a wild success. I'm Rapoport. Thanks for watching me today. Please comment on this video, and you can find my fan page on Facebook. I'd love to hear from you. See you next time. Hi. What about that one? All right. Okay. The CC was a fine car in two, whoops. The CC was a fine, whoops. Everything I liked about it has either remained or even improved. Sorry.